Check this out.
I'm Linda Little. I want to be the next survivor!
You know, I'm really shooting myself in the foot here right off the top, but I feel compelled to open with a statement which itself constitutes a fulsome review of Send Help, and I would totally understand if it's all you needed to hear before buying your ticket and going about your day. If the idea of a Sam Raimi survival thriller centered on Rachel McAdams and Dylan O'Brien going bat bananas on a beach for just under 2 hours sounds like a good time at the movies, Send Help is for you. I'm Tom Jorgensen, and this is my review of Send Help.
Strategy and planning, actually. You ever hunt? I think I like it.
After turning in one of the better post-Endgame Marvel movies, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, Raimi returns to simpler delights, namely putting his leads through harrowing hell as they struggle to survive the elements and each other. There's nothing better than seeing a master at work and at play at the same time. There's some immensely satisfying symmetry in how Raimi scales down here after Multiverse of Madness in the context of his last movie before that, 2010's goop-tastic Drag Me to Hell, which you'll remember followed a woman gunning for a promotion and reckoning with how much of herself she's willing to compromise in order to get it. Send Help goes in completely different directions with that conceit, but takes off from spiritually similar ground. Rachel McAdams plays the terminally chipper Linda Little, who's toiled for 7 years crunching numbers for Preston Strategic Solutions and working towards a vice president role within the company, which is derailed once Dylan O'Brien's nepo baby Bradley Preston takes over as CEO. From the jump, Linda feels like she would have been right at home at the school lunch table with Tobey Maguire's Peter Parker and Christine Brown from Drag Me to Hell, passed over losers full of potential that the world can't or won't see. And why are you zooming in on me right now? Don't zoom in on me when I say that! Bradley grudgingly brings Linda along for an important overseas trip, which is when their plane crashes and strands them on a tropical island in the Pacific Ocean. Life or death survival situations tend to expose the true self, and seeing how Linda and Bradley adapt and reveal themselves in their perilous circumstances drives much of the movie's tension. This is the make or break moment that Linda's been waiting for her whole life, and Bradley is forced to confront just how much of his privilege has been spoon-fed to him. Damian Shannon and Mark Swift's script does great work starting Linda and Bradley at polar opposite points of audience sympathy, and seeing how adversity drives them towards the middle is supremely satisfying. Bradley is terrible to Linda, but we do see him make genuine overtures towards more self-awareness as he's forced to confront his first impressions of her. Linda, on the other hand, has a past that puts her hunger for survival into a complex and rich frame that makes her decisions in the weeks that follow shocking, but nevertheless rooted in real emotion. Raimi and McAdams do canny work making that clear through how Linda holds herself as Send Help goes, with a Clark Kent-worthy transition out of Linda's initial shabbiness into an Amazonian warrior. Do you remember how Rob Schneider turned into Rachel McAdams in The Hot Chick? Raimi basically pulls that trick here in Send Help, with McAdams gleefully leaning into that transition by preening in moments when she's alone and getting bolder in her interest towards Bradley as their time on the island passes. McAdams and O'Brien are both incredibly strong here in their own rights, but it's their chemistry that keeps Send Help roaring full speed ahead. From moment to moment, it's never quite clear whether these two are going to kill each other or kiss each other, and McAdams and O'Brien's dance between those possibilities never tires. Excellent though she is in Send Help, Rachel McAdams' success as a Raimi lead is less of a revelation and more of a foregone conclusion. McAdams has been a comedy heavy since the very beginning of her career, and likewise has shown through darker projects like True Detective and Spotlight that she is just as comfortable in darker spaces, both of which are crucially important to Linda's function within this story and flawlessly executed. It's Dylan O'Brien who really feels like he's breaking into new territory here, clearly reveling in Bradley's unsavory broad buffoonery and that ironic and total lack of vanity as he snivels his way in and out of Linda's good graces would make Bruce Campbell proud. One of the most exciting things about watching a new Sam Raimi movie is seeing genre trappings refracted through his lens. Send Help is mostly rooted in the survival thriller space, but out of that structure, Raimi animates and escalates those stakes in all the ways that you could possibly hope for. The shifting power dynamic between Linda and Bradley serves as the backbone of the action once they're stranded on the island, but Raimi is at the ready with an air horn and a taser once it comes time for the big set pieces. The plane crash which strands the pair is breathlessly exciting, full of quick little setups and payoffs that act as the first hints of how powerful Linda's survival instincts really are. Linda also puts herself to the test early on by hunting a boar, and you'd better believe that it doesn't go exactly according to plan. If you've ever wondered how much blood and snot are contained within a boar, first of all, what are you doing with your day? And second of all, Send Help has an answer for you, and the answer is so much less than what we're about to show you. But what of bile? Surely there must be some bile in a Sam Raimi picture. Of course there is. There's also some eye shit. There's some top shelf eye shit that had me crawling in my skin. These gore moments pop off like fireworks and pair wonderfully with the more psychologically bent slings and arrows that the two leads launch at each other. Despite coming in under 2 hours, Send Help does occasionally double over itself here and there with respect to how it underlines Linda and Bradley's suitability for their circumstances, past the point where that's already been clearly and effectively established. Frequent Raimi collaborator Danny Elfman's score also surprisingly doesn't leave much of an impression, serviceably punctuating the big moments, but otherwise feeling a lot more nondescript than you might expect, especially given the bombastic heights that Send Help reaches by the end. But Send Help represents such a purity of vision and intent that the nits there are to pick feel largely inoffensive. But at the end of the day, there's just nothing that makes me happier than a movie which uses the expectations of tone baked into a particular genre to subvert and surprise. It probably won't shock you to know that Shaun of the Dead has been my favorite movie since I was 13. And if there's a single filmmaker you can point to as an analog for Edgar Wright, it's Sam Raimi. I found Raimi through Wright, and I cannot overstate how important his work was to discovering my love not just of film, but of filmmaking. The commentary track of the Evil Dead DVD made me believe that any kid with the right work ethic could make their movie. And films like Drag Me to Hell, Darkman, and The Quick and the Dead hammered home just how far you can go when you have confidence in not just your own vision, but the audience's ability to meet you halfway. It's no wonder that there's a colloquial term for that sort of bold directorial energy, and that term is Raimi-esque.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow. You know what? You're so done.
Huh?
Yeah, you're so fired.
Oh, am I?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Send Help is getting a 9. Sam Raimi drives the survival thriller genre to some amazing and sadistically giddy ends, with Rachel McAdams and Dylan O'Brien along for the ride in the backseat, cackling and stabbing each other the whole way through. Linda and Bradley's ordeal creates immensely fertile ground for Raimi to interrogate the validity of first impressions, with twists and turns of the plot and of various sharp objects that seldom tire. Sure, Drag Me to Hell, but let's stop at this island on the way and have a freaking party with Linda and Bradley.
Take your seats, you're a little
Thank you for watching. For more movie reviews, check out what we thought of 28 Years Later, The Bone Temple, and Marty Supreme, or as my brother Taylor Jorgensen calls it, Martin Superior. And for everything else, keep it here on IGN.